asking the real questions.
I'm starting here with the recording. Are we ready?
It asked me for a consent form.
It did.
I don't consent to this.
Everybody shut up.
I get
All
my
right.
consent.
We
Let's
are
do this.
professionals now. Let's go.
Are we?
No.
All right. 5,
Absolutely.
6, 7, 8. In a dream, my love. In a dream, my love. You can find my heart. You can find my. Oh, snap. We're recording for real.
Yes, we are recording. We're not live on
Excellent
Facebook yet, but
I love it.
no, I don't want
Feel
that.
like this
I
is
want it on my page.
flair. This is the bonus stuff that they can subscribe to on Patreon.
I can't breathe for the first time. I'm so moving on. Yeah.
4-letter nerd, the musical.
Thanks to you. Now I get what I want.
By the way, this is all being recorded by Zoom. It might not be on Facebook, but it is being recorded by Zoom. Thank you for the performance. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's live. I see it live.
And cutscene.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are 4-letter nerd. We are 4 geeks and nerds brought together by fate to bring you this, the 4-letter nerd show. Brought to you by Kill the Sun Comics. And welcome to the 4-letter nerd. Hold on, let me look more professional, like I got a teleprompter. There we go. The adult show for geeks, produced by Kill the Sun Comics. I'm today's host. Insert name. Oh wait. Today we will talk about Indigenous women comic books and our lovely guest Sarah Moore.
Ooh,
welcome,
hi, Sarah.
Everyone. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How are we all doing tonight?
Are you still like doing your shtick? Because I don't know if I'm supposed to talk. I don't know if there's like a killer intro that's supposed to come in that maybe I could do like a dance behind the scenes, but I'm doing amazing.
I don't have anything yet. Like, we're just getting started, but once I get it in the budget, yeah, we're gonna have this gonna like come swooping in and be all cool and whatnot. But yeah, we don't got that right now.
As you can tell, Sarah, we are a well-oiled machine of professionals.
Thank you. Oh yes, I can definitely
Flipping
tell.
off the table.
Classy, never trashy. There you
That's
go.
right.
It's a step up from what I can do.
All right, everyone. So we've got the first signed artist for Kill the Sun Comics that we're going to be publishing today. It's gone live today. It's on the website, killthesun.org. Go buy it. Buy it. Support our artist. We would love it. Oh, look, there it is. Yeah.
Oh
yeah, Ness is showing us what's up.
Yes.
Epic zoom.
Who needs special effects?
Exactly. It's not in the budget, but we got this. All right. All right,
Tell the camera and move closer.
Yeah. So do you prefer to go by Sarah? Do you go by Miss Moore? SB Moore? How would you like to call?
Just Sarah.
Just Sarah.
Sarah's
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a pleasure to have you,
joining
Sarah.
us today.
Thank you.
All right. So I got the first question. So mine is, why a Shiba Inu? Why magic? Why this comic? Because it is, I liked it. I'm like, it's a talking Shiba, and he's like, I'm a mountain spirit. I'm just gonna go explore now, and finds the drunkenest things he can find within 5 minutes.
It's something I asked myself as well, because at this point I'm like, why Shiba Inus after all? I mean, for a while now, I kind of, I loved Shiba Inus like beforehand. I was like, oh, I love this dog. I just want to embody this dog in like a character, just because like I've seen so many videos on YouTube of sorry, I don't know why my eye is burning right now. But I've seen so many videos on YouTube of like Shiba Inus, and they always have such a personality. Yes. That's like so independent. Like they aren't, not like other dogs where they're very loyal. Shiba Inus are very independent, and they kind of like, they take their own stride. They have this air where they're just like, no, I don't want to go on the walk. It's like, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I will make noises and scream and do all these random things. And thinking about that, I was like, this would make for a great character, especially a like a forest spirit because they're so bizarre in their like personality. They're very unique and stand out against other dogs. So I was like, they would make for a really good like forest spirit character. And I was kind of going along with the idea of like, Japanese forest spirits and that, that mythology. And, I was already familiar with like Studio Ghibli movies. So that's like a huge inspiration for this story. So I was like, you know what, I'll just put in the things that I love, that being Shiba Inu's magic, a little bit of like this sprinkle of like this Ghibli magical, adventurous, simple story that you don't have to, think too deeply about. And, the Shiba just really embodied it. And I feel like Shiro, the main character, was perfect for that.
Yes. Amazing. Amazing. I'm gonna go next. So after reading this, you pretty much told us pretty much where you got their inspiration from. Where do you plan to go from here? Because this is such a great light story. Like it was everything I thought, and then some. It was a great character development, still character mystery. You've introduced a lot of great fantasy elements, which a lot of people love. There's such great art and color. Like look at that first page. Like just the first like pops. And by the time I finished, I think the comic was like 27 pages. I wanted more. But are you gonna finish this and do other projects, or are you just gonna like continue the series indefinitely?
I've thought about that, and I've had that question before.
Mhm.
I honestly would like to continue it at some point, but for now it's kind of just standing on its own because this is my first comic. And what I was taught in regards to the industry, because I did take a class with comics when it came to my writing degree. And the biggest thing about starting out was starting off with short stories and, one shots. And this was kind of like that, that starting point for me, because I hadn't written any other comics prior to this. So this was like, okay, this is me putting my foot in the door and like feeling out what it's like to produce a one-shot comic. And the way it does end, it does seem like I could easily pick up after that and do like more issues, but it also doesn't have to. I do.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Build a universe, please. Build a universe for us.
See,
no pressure.
No pressure. Yes.
If I'm to put your mind at ease, this does take place in a larger universe. So this is like almost like an offshoot from like what's going on in the main story. So Shiro, the main character, actually does appear in this mainline story that I'm coming up with.
Yes.
Which is, will come at some point, but it's in the works. But in regards to Shiba Tales specifically, I would love to continue this at some point when I have the right ideas, when the inspiration comes back to me, because I do see this as something that you can kind of pick up no matter what volume you have or what issue you have. So it's, each issue of it would stand alone, but it's still kind of encompass these characters on an adventure trying to solve a problem or a mystery.
Thank you very much for answering my question. I look forward to receiving my only self-indulged exclusive second issue. Thank you.
Thank you. You're going to have to share that, sir. No.
No.
Got dibs on third.
Okay, look here. Y'all need to stop being greedy. Lady Sid, do you have a question for our honored guest?
I actually have several now because one thing, I'm going to be very honest with you. I am mad at myself at how long it took me to get Intoxiber and Intoxicated. Like, I am embarrassed at the time that it took me to make that connection, but I got there.
God.
I mean,
but I thought was very clever.
Intoxicated.
I don't know what it was.
Intoxiber.
Sometimes my neurons are not all firing on all cylinders, and it takes me a little bit longer, but I got there, and I just want to point out how clever that was. So good job on that. The other
Thank
thing
you.
that was not part of the questions that I was going to ask you, but I'm going to wait till the end because it's not directly related to your comic, but this to me felt like the setup to like a D&D campaign.
Yep.
You're
Yeah.
like getting the band together and off we're going to go on a quest. Do you play D&D?
I
And are
do.
you a DM? I knew
I'm not a DM. I want to be a DM though. I have like
you just this is DM material right here. I'm like this. I was thinking this would make such a fun game because like you could incorporate like for a 21 plus crowd, like incorporate shots for certain things. This
Oh, yeah.
could be the littest campaign of all time.
So when they're at the tavern, the party
Sincerely.
actually has to be drinking and then go on
Right.
the adventure.
Yes.
Ooh.
Exactly. And then like with certain roles, you know, you may have to take a shot if you're unsuccessful. You know, if you roll for dexterity and you get a 1,
That sounds
know?
like Kill the Sun Comics needs to make a game for this. I'm just saying.
and Sarah needs to
Game
be
in
the DM
development.
if she because she's building this world. So I am gonna have to double on that whole thing. The question in there, other than do you play D&D, this does feel like a campaign. Was this kind of what you were thinking? Like I'm gonna get this ragtag group as if it's a D&D campaign. Was that part of the inspiration? Because it felt like it.
Yeah, so I mean, I've really been into D&D and sort of like the genre of role playing that comes with you know, playing D&D or just doing like originally I started off with like long form text based role play, and this kind of interestingly enough, this whole world that I had created was something I created with several other people. You know, just kind of like, oh, let's just make this fantasy world and role play in it, and you know, kind of make it like a D&D style role play. And from there, it kind of solidified itself. And now here it is. It's kind of gone through many evolutions since that date. But yeah, when I was coming up with these characters, I always have this thought in my head because it's so ingrained in me to come up with like a group or a party, kind of
Right.
like in D&D because I played it
Yep.
so
Thief, the
much.
bard, the rogue, yeah.
Yeah, so for this group, I was like, you know, this is very much influenced by the whole, you know, the entirety of D&D, but
I love that.
almost like a little bit of a slice of life. It's not like they're not fighting gods. They're not fighting, you know, terrible demons. They're just a group of people who are solving the smaller problems and the smaller, weirder quests in village.
Those are the fun ones, the side quests.
Hey, my tavern's
Yeah.
out
The
of
other
booze. Can you
question,
help?
super quick question. You said that, you know, Studio Ghibli, what's your favorite movie?
Oh,
Ooh.
it's
Just real quick.
it's Spirited Away.
Hey, that's a good.
Yeah.
Nice.
You
Great
can
one.
tell, I mean, with the whole forest spirit thing.
Yeah, with the tree spirits and all that. I see that. Ness, I've taken up too much time. Go.
Oh no, no
Oh,
worries. I'm watching this. I'm in an episode. I'm just tuning in. Like, oh, okay, this is tight. Let me keep it up. All right. They got more facts coming up. Right. Well, now it's me. I'm live. Oh, I'm in it. Shit. I guess what comes up is more like, what's your headspace? I guess when you got into this comic, as far as do you get like in a forest, or do you get in your bedroom and like you set up your figures, or do you set up like a D&D table, or do you like what is your creation or your creative process? I guess that's what I want to ask.
I guess my creative process is very much, you know, in the stages of writing, you know, getting comfortable. And I used to do this thing where I would have like ambient noise playing, like a forest sound, like track playing. And then I'd have like you know, these mood lights that I have right now, these LEDs.
Oh yeah.
With a few others,
Cool.
because I really like
Set the
to,
tone.
you know, I go way too far when it comes to writing.
No,
You know, you
don't.
really all you have to
Don't
do
You
is
gotta
just
get into it.
yeah,
You gotta
you
like.
it helps to just like be able to like wrap myself up in a blanket and have like, you know, nice sparkly lights and like a nice like nature ambience. And then of course, have some Joe Hisaishi playing in the
Yep.
background. So that's
Excellent.
really like, I try to go as ambient as possible because that's, that's what I love portraying the most is ambiance. And I mean,
Yes.
you can clearly see it in the comics. There's not too much going on in the background, but it's very detailed when it's there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
extremely
Yes,
detailed.
it is.
From every time I was reading through it, like it like she was saying, she got the vibe of D&D, and every shot that you have in here, it was just like a clipping or art out of like a D&D book or something. Like if you could just post it on there, is what it looked like to me.
It read like a campaign book to me. I was like, I want to play. Like where's somebody give me my dice? Let's go.
Yeah.
The wizard has rolled badly on his bluff check.
Take a shot.
Oh,
I think what for me personally, Sarah, I love the colors. It's kind of like the shiny penny. I can't show it because my light went out, so don't mind me. That's why I'm talking my spooky voice theme. But like you can't see it. So like when when we actually get to meet the sword and everybody's kind of converging, it's like you go from red and black and green, and the way it flows on paper and panel flows really good. Yeah, see, it's and it's funny because like Nessa showing up, it's kind of glazed over a little bit, but on my digital
Doesn't
tablet,
do
it's
it justice.
amazing.
Right.
It is amazing.
It is very wonderful.
And it very much gave me the forest from Nausicaa, another Ghibli
Ooh.
film.
mhm.
Like I really got that, but which is why I actually expected that to be your answer. But Spirited Away does give the same kind of feeling as well.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's something that I try to focus on
Mhm.
when it comes to like pages, because you don't want to make something that seems a little incongruent or has like way too many colors going on. So I try to imagine it, what the light source specifically, what's going to be like what's happening, and what that's
Right.
conveying about what's going on in the story. Because it's at this part, it's like a pinkish red. It's
yeah.
like reminiscent of like wine, but also anger and rage. And I think to me, I get really satisfied from like seeing all the pages, flipping through and being like, okay, so here's like a green set of pages, and then you move on. It's like, oh, this is a little bit more brown and gold, and then you move on from there. And it's like, I love that nice transition between colors and scenes. I think it's really important. And I think it's something that a lot of comic artists should keep in mind about, thinking of the comic as a whole.
Yeah, 100%. We can tell you definitely. Thank you, Mama. I appreciate it.
The baby likes it as well. She needs to
Speak
let
your
that be
truth, little
known.
mama.
Took your time with it, and it shows. It almost looks like an animation. Like you took stills from an animation and put it on the paper. That's how
Like
beautiful
animation
it is.
stills.
Yes,
Or
100%.
cells,
Yes.
I should say.
Like little slides. Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
And I
that's
appreciate the
that's what I want to go
diversity
for.
in body shapes and sizes and
Yes.
styles.
Proportions.
So
Yep.
Believability in
Thank
people.
you, that was the word.
Thank you. I mean, I really like experimenting with different things. And I feel like it only felt natural to, try some new like techniques out and have some like diversifying visuals. I think that added a lot to, even subtly to the story itself.
Yeah, it makes it richer. Absolutely.
Look at this color.
I'm
And
really excited for you. I hope this sells really well, and I'm looking
Yes.
forward to anything that you decide to add on to it in your own time. No pressure, mayhem.
Well, since we're talking about you in future projects, Sarah, where can we reach you? What social media projects or social media handles can we reach you at to maybe even see some works coming up and obviously support you at?
You can reach me at Shirbirthday at Instagram and Twitter. That's both my handles. And usually you'll see me posting artwork, but that's where you can stay up to date for pretty much everything.
Okay. So we have your information up there. Definitely, you'll get a subscriber from me later on today. Definitely.
And me.
And if I DM you, just ignore me, okay? I just want a second. I just want a second issue.
So Intoxiber 2 win.
Well, I want to
Oh,
thank you
God.
very much for coming on to the show. It's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been a pleasure going over your work. When I tell you we were the first to get, to get a handle on this and look at it, we were amazed and excited. And you know what? We've been on such a hot streak on reading comics to have your work. Like honestly, this is a piece of history for someone, and I dare say you're self-starting, like you've put company production level yourself. So we're really looking forward to keeping in touch with you, having you back on again and see what great works. Volume 2,
Yes.
come back out. Definitely.
Even if there's no
Dropping end of
volume
the year.
2, please come back
Please.
and
Yes,
Play
join us.
D&D with us.
hang out with us.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There we go.
Heck yeah,
Ooh.
absolutely. I'm always down for a new D&D campaign.
Yes.
Yeah, I think myself or Ness could DM that. I think we could do that.
Oh, amazing.
Build a nice
you
little
can
one
try
shot.
something.
That would be so fun. And yes, let us get intoxicated while we do that.
Intoxicated.
Yes.
I'm so
Yeah.
proud that I made that connection, guys. You just don't even.
As long
Well-
as it happened.
Yeah, as
noticed,
long as you
there's a little
realized it.
Build wine right there on
I
her
got
hood.
there.
If
I
you
got
noticed.
there.
Yeah,
I got-
Wow.
that's pretty cool.
See,
Yeah,
once
just
I was like, oh, you dummy. When I started seeing it everywhere, I'm like, don't let the glasses fool you guys. I'm not that smart.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, oh, what would I call a magical sword that drinks alcohol? Intoxicated? Excalibur?
Intoxiber.
A beautiful union of words.
Yes.
It is. And once again, we want to thank our lovely and special guest for joining us on the launch of her comic
So
book with
much.
us. So we appreciate you being here. We're going to wrap up your interview portion of this, and then we're going to get to the nitty gritty of comic
Ooh.
discussion.
This
Yeah.
has been
Because
amazing.
these are some gritty
Yeah,
comics
thank
coming
you
up.
so
people.
much, Sarah. And next time
Thank
we can
you.
talk more Ghibli.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you
you,
all
Sarah.
so much for inviting me.
You are welcome.
Yep,
Always
welcome
welcome. Just join
anytime.
us again.
All
Please.
I
right.
keep
you
looking
all
down to
take
the left
care.
because that's where my phone is, and that's where I can see everybody. So I apologize. Let me make contact with the people.
All right. You all take
All right.
care.
Have a
and
great night, Sarah.
Yes.
Thank you. You too.
Dude,
Bye.
So,
Bye.
bye.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was the interview portion of our show. Now it's time to get to some really gritty comics. That, man, if you weren't ready, you best be ready. But first, a word from me as host to one of our people so we can get them out there on the internet. First, we're going with Mr. Mayhem.
Oh, it's me. Hey, you can follow me at Pure Mayhem on Instagram. I'm going to clean it up. I generally have some interactive stuff going on. It's always a pleasure. That guy on the picture, he looks amazing. I don't know why he has an earring because I don't, but his eyebrows are slayed. Amazing.
Thank you for the self-advertisement, sir. All right. So which comic are we going to start with today?
I think I would like to go with Dear Woman. I
Yes.
love Dear Woman. I think more so than Six Killer, but that's just me personally.
Okay.
Dear
Okay.
Killer is a vignette,
Mhm.
and so there's more of a definitive beginning, middle, and end. Where Six Killer was definitely just the very beginnings of something. So
Okay.
there's still a lot of questions at the end of that. So I get what you're saying, and I agree. I really enjoyed Dear Woman, which is tough to say because the topic is so heavy.
Right.
Yes.
So
And
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Okay.
No. I was gonna say which one of us is gonna talk about it, but you go ahead because I'll take Six Killer.
Okay. So Dear Woman was written by Elizabeth. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. La Pensy. And it was edited by Ali Vasquez. The artist was Jonathan R. Thunder. And, you look at it. Here's the crazy thing. I love fantasy, mythological folk tales. I just love them all together. And they combine that with the serious issue being sexual assault and domestic violence inside of this. Obviously, we're paying homage to Indigenous women that are out there, that are featured in comics, that are writing comics, that are illustrating. And this talks about kind of the abuse that Indigenous women go through that we may not be privy to. Ironically, it's beautifully drawn. I know we just came from like a really great production level comic featured in Kill the Sun comics, but this does it all. Like you look at the black and white, I would say panels, and it does so much more for the imagination and understanding the meaning of what's going on. That I want to make sure I say her name correctly, that Elizabeth wanted us to see, you know, by the second, if not third page, you're understanding why the story is going this way. I don't want to spoil it, but you understand where the concept of Dear Woman is, and you understand why Dear Woman took the path. And I want to say it, even though it's a woman per se, but it is a creature as well, it's a mythological creature, why it decided to speak to the main character and tell its story in a sense. It's a very, very strong, very, very good, just kind of like, wow, eye-opening story that I think everyone should have the privy and chance to read and just kind of sit with.
Yes, I agree. Like when I started this, I'm like, cool, where am I going? And I'm like, okay, this is going in a completely different direction than what I was expecting.
Yep.
But it's something that needs to be said, because, you know, these are things that are happening to the Indigenous women of our country, and most countries, like, they just go missing and things like this happen. And to have a mythical creature in this comic form to stand up for these women, to try to protect them, is just something that's awesome. And it's just it's a dark place, but it's a dark place that needs to be seen and have light shed upon it.
One thing that I felt with it is that I think part of with the art style, because it's a little bit rougher, a little bit edgier, it tells so much more of the story without having to go into detail. Like, you know what's
Right.
happening
Yes.
without them having to go into detail. And that, I think, spoke to me and made it just more powerful in that. I think we as a society, especially with things on TV and stuff, things are so graphic and gory, and sometimes it's too much, whereas this is scaled so far back that it's letting you fill in the lines, and
Mhm.
that makes it that more personal and powerful, and in its own sense difficult. And I apologize, we should have started this with a trigger warning for SA.
I tried to
So
crop it to where there wasn't too much happening in the bits that I showed. So hopefully it's not too bad.
yeah, if we did, we apologize if
Yeah.
we caught anyone off guard. That certainly wasn't our intent. Maybe we can when we edit, we can post something up
Add a
more
little.
front.
Yes, add a little something for the other edit.
And
Yes.
one thing I do also just want to mention quickly, that in the introduction to this, she mentions that there's over 1,000 missing women and children in the Great Lakes area alone.
Yep. At the end of the, I'll wrap this up and say, by at the end of the comic, this is a great story. She talks about self-defense moves, and she shows it.
Yeah.
She illustrates it. She shows what it's for, and she says it's not just about punching, eye gouging, and hitting. It's about, you know, not only taking that power, but also being aware of what's going on. I just want to say that sometimes, we have a lot of things going on in our world that we sometimes forget there are other people less fortunate, or other people dealing with other things, that we forget about them, and to also look out for them. This is a great eye-opening story. This is a great comic. I learned something, and I took something away from this that's never going to like just leave me ever again, you know? And I hope that does for some of our viewers as well. Definitely go check it out. Once again, it's Dear Woman by Elizabeth. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Lapense. It's an amazing comic. Lapense. It's an amazing story. Thank you very much for having this out there for us to read.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So next up on the docket, we have Six Killer. Who would like to start us off on this one?
Nez, do you want to, or do you want me to?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, Six Killer is written by Lee Francis, and the illustrator is, I apologize for saying this if I say this wrong, it's Washoyot Alvitre. And this then the description is it says it's Alice in Wonderland meets Kill Bill, and I do not think that there is a more apt description for what is going on here because it is trippy.
Mhm.
And this issue is a very early issue, so we really don't know. I've read ahead, so I know where this is going, and I'm trying not to give too much detail, but I think the cover kind of tells you where we're going along with that description. Um, it is very much a revenge
Mm.
because of, again, trigger warning, SA
I have none
murder.
of those images. Thank you. I was good on this one. I'm like,
But
ooh, let me get the bright and colorful,
just
strange
the
looking
plot,
ones. Yeah, the plot.
and
Yeah.
and it starts off with this the main character losing her sibling and being in a mental hospital, and you don't really know what's reality and what isn't. It's very much like that Marvel Legion, where you don't know what's real and what's in her head. So I don't know if this is going to go in a sense into like a magical realm, because here she is talking to a bunny, which is where we get those parallels with Alice in Wonderland and the tears causing a flood. And if this is really happening, or if this is something that's like some kind of psychotic breakdown in her head. Is this an entire fantasy sequence, all the events that happen after this? And that's what's got me interested. I want to find out if this is really happening or if it's just all in her head. But it, again, dealing with Indigenous women issues, a very underrepresented and community, and people that need help, need more visibility. And this was a 99-cent comment, and I cannot endorse enough putting in that 99 cents for that digital copy and just starting to go down that path with her. I think you will enjoy the story, but I also think it's just important to get these stories out there
Mm.
circulating so that more people can see and understand the perspective that these women are coming from.
There's a tagline at the end that says "End violence against Native women," and I think it's very important that we say that. We help push that narrative, that message. So once again, I'm just going to say it once again: "End violence against Native women." Um, I also found this to be like Moonlight, kind of like it was so many the Joker, if you will, with DC. It's like
Yeah.
you don't know what's real and what's not. It's still visibly drawn very well, but it's just like what's going on. And I haven't read any issues besides this one, but this is enough to be like, I can't wait to see where this goes. And now that I know that Kat has read ahead, I kind of want to read ahead too and catch up now.
It's like, wait up, hold up. I'm being left behind. Let me get in with the cool kids. Hold up, wait a minute.
Well, I was expecting the first issue to push us further along in the story, and when it didn't, I'm like, well, you can't. You said it was this. So then I kept reading, which, smart of them to do. But I am enjoying the story itself. But for the entire time, I'm like, is this reality? Is this
Is this just fantasy?
exactly?
I kind of want to take a shot and just give the illustrator their props. I apologize if I've butchered your name in any sort of
Oh,
way.
I already butchered it earlier, so you go ahead.
Its illustrator was Wishoyat
Yep.
Alvitre, I believe Alvitre. It is amazing. It is amazing. Like it just
Look in
flows so
her
great.
eyes right there.
Yes. Yes.
You see the pain.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like you did so much with so little, you know?
Exactly.
If I could be so bold to say. But it was an amazing story. It was an amazing narrative. Thank you very much for this.
Yes. Like the artwork is just to me, it's just phenomenal. I was enjoying the art, I was enjoying the story, and then I was like, all right, cool, where's this going? And I'm like, is she talking to a rabbit? I'm like, hold up. I'm like, it's like I always like to go in blind when I read the comics, so I don't like read the descriptors or anything at the beginning. I just jump right into it and just start reading, and I'm like, this is some Alice in Wonderland on the native side type stuff going on. I'm like, is she really talking to this rabbit, or is this in her head? And the lightning, I'm like, what's with the lightning? And then I'm like, now there's a flood. I'm like, okay, this young lady's got to be like losing it. This can't be real. Right. Is it real? And then I'm like, oh, the figurines are talking. And I'm like, They're her
Ooh.
totems. I'm like, all right, cool. The totems are supposed to talk, I guess. But all right, let's see where this goes. So yeah, I was drawn in. I'm like, where is this going? You say you're crazy, but all I see is a young lady in pain. So yeah,
Mm.
In
let's see what
so
this is
much
about.
pain.
That's key. That is very key. Look ahead.
Oh, that was it, sir. That was my piece. I've said my piece. I am done.
All right, let's move on. Next
Yes,
comment.
sir. All right, next comic. I do apologize, but I forgot to get the screen caps of this one, but it is my choice. This one was um Phoenix Song, starring the new young lady that I kind of sort of knew about, but didn't. Because I don't read a lot of comics, but I keep up with what's going on with them. And
He
then
doesn't
one,
read a lot of comics. He's lying.
Right. Yeah, that's just not a curtain. You pull that back, you're gonna see a wall.
Web
Yes,
comics literally
right.
have the
Actually,
word comics in it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, no. I remembered her again when I watched the Hawkeye TV show that was on D Plus, and I'm like, oh, Echo, I remember her. Yeah, she's the deaf Native American character that Marvel came out with, and in this story, somehow the Phoenix Force decides to come back yet again, as the Phoenix Force does, because the Phoenix
And
Force.
rise again.
Right.
Exactly. There we go. And basically, its favorite redheads are nowhere to be found. So Jean's not there. Rachel's not there. Hope's not there. It's like, you know what? You guys go ahead and fight. Show me who wants me. And it holds a tournament of the Avengers and a few of the X-Men to see who's actually going to host the Phoenix Force. And it chooses Echo. And basically, this is the story of her trying to come to terms with this power that she doesn't know what to do with. And sadly, just like the first host we learned about, Jean, she's like, oh, I'm just going to do what I want. That was a bit extreme. I should probably tone this down. I should probably go away from other people and learn how to do this. And she's just out there trying to figure out how to deal with this power. And yeah, there's a whole underarching story to that about someone that wants that power for themselves and how they're going to get it, and lots of family tree involvement. And she thinks one person's one thing, but they're not, and then she thinks one person's another thing, and they're not. And it does feature a cameo by one of my favorite X-Men, Forge, because his mutant power is literally, if he can think of it, he can build it. It's a little cameo, but it's a very Forge cameo. And so two Native Americans trying to figure these things out, and it doesn't go the way we think it's going to go, but that's okay. But it's really good. I love the artwork because it is Marvel, but it's up there. And so it's just a story of I keep picking these coming of age stories. I just realized this. The last comic I picked was coming of age. The manga I picked was coming of age. Okay. So yeah, there's a theme in my stuff. It's coming of age and learning to deal with the stuff that you're going through.
Kudos to you. So Echo, I mean, everybody knows from the last Hawkeye Disney Plus series, she was featured there. And you know that she is deaf and she can't hear, but she's a very proficient, not only lip reader, but combatant. Like she can see your moves and copy. Think of Taskmaster to an extent.
Yes. Like a very light version of Taskmaster. Yes.
I don't even know how that is a light version. The fact that you can see somebody's moving copies it, that I don't even know. She's from the Cheyenne tribe of the Native Americans. And she has just always been an interesting character. And this story takes place before Hawkeye, the series.
I was just gonna ask you where that timeline was. Like, where was she placed? Because it's the first I ever get to read this, and it was a treat.
I believe, and I could be wrong, I believe this is after Avengers versus X-Men.
Yes, it is after that. I'm not sure how far after that though.
It might have been a one-off. I do want to give a shout out to the writer Rebecca Roanhorse, excuse me. The artist is Luca Mariseca. I believe I'm saying Merska. I apologize if I butchered your name.
I don't think we said a name right tonight, but that's okay. We're doing our due diligence.
What's very important about this comic, besides the fact that we are help promoting Indigenous women of comics, is that here it is. We have an Indigenous woman who's wielding some of the strongest powers of Marvel's continuity. You know, it's the Phoenix Force, which is all of creation, and technically, allegedly, it's even more powerful in death. So it's weird. Ask Jean Grey, ask the writers, you know, ask Rachel Summers to an extent. And here it is. She's wielding it. She ran into not Lady Deathstrike, Daredevil, who is now what is her name?
Elektra.
Elektra. I kept thinking Natasha.
Daredevil's main squeeze.
Right. So she's taking over the Daredevil mantle. So before I would say the MCU made it a thing, this was on the road of more female empowerment characters, which was much needed and much overdue, because there are some characters here that are very interesting. They just have nothing, you know, male too, but we don't care about them right now. Just female characters who have nothing to make them more interesting. And Echo is amazing. I want to see more of Maria Lopez for sure. However, this is a great place to start. I think she has her own solo series. Maybe we can bring that up another time and see how that goes. But this was amazing. It was drawn incredibly well. It's such a way that it's even written very well, because we forget that she's deaf. So everybody keeps screaming at her, and she's like, "Come into the light so I can read your lips."
She's like,
And
"Hey,
just
by the way, I noticed you're saying something. I didn't see it. I couldn't see your lips. I need you to focus." And that's a little bit of inconsiderate behavior that we all have sometimes. We forget there are people who are deaf, who are mute, who can't necessarily communicate in the ways that we consider regular and normal. And we don't do anything to kind of like, hey, let me be a little bit more conscious and help out on this, you know? But I loved it. Great pick. I think it was Reggie who picked this out. Yes.
Yep.
Great pick. And then I'm finished. I think that's you, Ness.
Yes. My cue.
Yes.
Where am I? Okay, so. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That part. I was like, "Ooh." She came on in. I was like, no way. I had to see. I don't even know where that little timeline of that happened. I'm so far behind as far as like comics go, but what I've been reading has been so enlightening, and getting back into it has been really dope. Getting into this one, getting into Phoenix Song, and even the just all these indie ones have been really, really intense, really cool.
Yes.
Now, I am down. I don't have any of my notes as far as what I wanted to talk or even speak. So unfortunately, I am sorry for that.
That's fine.
As far as I can share.
Technical difficulties. Internet difficulties.
It's been down since this morning. I don't know what the heck. A bird crashed into a transformer. I don't know.
Should have transformed and rolled out.
Phoenix Force.
That's a good one. All I could say is for you guys, I can tell that you're very knowledgeable. I'm literally one of those comic enthusiast guys that come in and like, oh, that looks like a dope comic. Let me read that. I'll go through it and like, yeah, that was tight. I enjoyed that. And listening to you guys individually, as far as your knowledge of comics have been, just puts me to shame. It's like it's that incline again, like over at Pikes Peak. I don't know if you guys know the incline. That shit's tall. It's just
quarter mile
there, bro.
at the steepest
I
angle that you can
just
hike
want to
in
say
Colorado.
we all have our things.
Yes.
And we all have the time that we have to commit to those things. So do not ever feel that way. Like we're all in different spaces. My knowledge of comics is so freaking niche and ages me so badly.
No, that's like, that's like being equivalent to, knowing the plans to a, I don't know, starship that I don't even.
Which is also niche. Listen, man, I'll tell you this. I started reading
Why are
comics.
you coming for me directly, sir?
No, I'm just, someone that knows about starships. They're really good at it. I could just point out that other person.
Sir, put the shovel down. Put the shovel
yourself.
down.
You're digging yourself. This is your. I'm just saying that maybe Starship Commander.
So, I should just probably stop talking. I know that it probably becomes an issue if I even keep saying more things. I
can't. It's all good.
I'll leave it to you.
It's all good.
Listen, I'll just say this. A couple years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, I was privy enough to get X-Men, giant size X-Men up until like 10 years. Okay.
Ooh.
That's over 30 years of comic books and
It
stories. And it went from the styling and drawings of like Wolverine like this to a more
Yep.
fluid, and it's so much stories and so much art and everything. It took me about a month and a half to read everything, at a persistent pace. So take your time, find what you like, find the tie-ins. Sometimes it's also great to have people like us explain, comics and what we read and
Right.
whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't feel no way.
I sadly have like the majority of the knowledge of the X-Men in here. It baffles my best friend because he'll be like, who's this random character? I'll tell him their name, their powers, where they came from,
Right.
who they're related to, who's trying to kill them. And he's like, how do you keep that straight? And I'm like, I don't know. No, I don't know, man. It's just there.
That's dope.
The things
So-
that stick in our brains.
This is true.
So I think our manager's getting ready to tell us we got to cut it short. But before we go, can we get a quick synopsis? It's quick, yay or nay, to the Batman of Robert Pattinson's The Batman. Ness, since you were last, yay or nay?
Oh, yay. Yeah. I like the Batman. Let's see. I can say a lot, but it's so short time. Just watch it. It's really good. I mean,
Okay.
I enjoyed it. The footsteps were my main thing. Just when he comes into the room,
Okay, keep it at that. Keep it at one thing.
and that's it.
All right.
Okay.
Cat, The Batman, yay or nay?
I've been saying yay for like 3 weeks. Watch the movie, man.
One thing,
I've been yaying.
then yay. one thing about The Batman, just one thing.
Zoe Kravitz, Catwoman.
Okay. Fair enough. Reggie, yay or nay?
Yeah. Watch it. Oh my God. Don't go in trying to look for the Batmans of the past that you've been watching.
Right.
This is a new Batman. This is this Batman story.
I like the collar thing. Ooh,
Yeah.
that shit was tight.
Oh, also Colin Farrell's Penguin.
Dude,
Yes.
if I didn't watch
Unrecognizable.
something that told me that's who it was before I went to see it,
Unrecognizable.
I would not have known that was him at all. Like
I
Travis
knew who
Barker
it
all
was
over
when I
again.
went to see it, and I still forgot by the end. When it rolled in the credits, I was like,
you're like, who? Wait,
Colin
what?
Farrell. No.
Wait, hold up.
wait, is there more than one Colin Farrell? Let me.
Yeah.
I forgot who I thought it was. I think I thought it was one of the guys. Oh, one of the guys from Home Alone, the shorter robber, the first
Joe
one.
Pesci.
Joe Pesci.
Joe
Pesci.
Pesci. There you go. I couldn't remember his name.
Nope.
Wow.
I thought it was, but if you look at the similarities of the face,
You know,
look.
you're not wrong.
I
I
can
see
see
that.
that, yeah.
You are not wrong.
Wait, because we got to wind down. Reggie, one
Yes.
thing, because I didn't hear your one thing. I heard
Yes.
everybody else had two things, but one thing.
My one thing is the Riddler. The Riddler. The Riddler.
Okay.
The Riddler.
Edward Nigma. All right. I'm going to go ahead and say yay as well. My one thing was the detective work. The
Ooh.
amateur.
I should have said that. Oh,
Because when I thought we had it, we didn't have it. That's all I'm going to say. When I thought we have it, we didn't have it. I think this movie is on its way to be the sequel. If there is a sequel, it's probably a classic.
Oh yeah.
yes.
Honestly,
Yes.
in its own right.
If
Reg.
they do it the right way, we're looking at a Godfather 2 situation.
Ooh.
Okay.
Let's
Where the
just
second
not
one's
do a
even better
Godfather
than the
3.
first.
Yes.
The
I
second one was better than the first.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
I just hope they don't
Just stay
necessarily.
away from doing a third one. Just
There's always the third one.
It's
Gonna be
Batman.
the
There's
no
always
Godfather 3, please. Let's
There's-
leave it at Godfather 2.
So what I would say is, I hope that whoever they're bringing in doesn't actually become a person of interest into like if there is a third or fourth movie down the line, because then what happens is we all know who that person is. It's just, it's kind of like the same thing over and over again. Is all I'm gonna
Right.
say. But we'll see. Oh, that's the manager telling us we gotta go. Reg, take us out.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This has been the 4-Letter Nerd, brought to you by, once again, Kill the Sun Comics. I was today's host, Ra, Sun God. Hey, look, that's me on the screen. You can find me there. These are the places you can find me. You will find a lot of geeky things and Hot Wheels. Not gonna lie, lots of Hot Wheels, but I enjoy it that way. Thank you.
I got Hot Wheels
Ness.
too. Oh, yes. So yeah, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. Twitter is if I can remember. Oh, I forgot my shit. Oh, Retro Mode. That's right. So Retro Mode, and at Facebook, I'll change the Facebook so that way you can actually find my name in there as well. But yep, you can find me. Drawings, pictures, me. Next.
Cat, where are you?
You can find me on these social medias. However, you will find me not doing much with either of them. However, I promise to maybe start doing stuff on them. Thank you.
I love the fact that you have a "How do you adjust your glasses" picture right next to it.
If you'd
brilliant.
like to go back to that, I'll tell you exactly which ones I do use.
We got it. Okay, yes.
Mine is the contempt is 90% of my adjustment. there.
Oh,
She's that
Mine
anime
too,
girl with the
yeah.
glasses. She just taps and stares.
oh,
I'm
okay.
smooth with it.
Oh,
Mayhem.
and you
Tell
can
us
find
about yourself.
Listen, I apparently I have a lot of things going on. My brother over there is running my my Instagram for me. You can find me at Pure Mayhem, podcaster, gamer, content creator, fitness advocate, and I'll be here with these folks next time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have been the 4-letter nerd. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week. Same nerd channel, same geek time.
My light
In
went
2
out.
weeks.
My light,
Two
my
weeks.
light went out.
What is that? Glasses, but what is that move? Is it? I forgot the name of that one.
The
That-
contempt.
All right.
And
That's
now
all
we're
right.
monologuing.